Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the travel category, kindly sponsored by D-Photo magazine. Great guys there. Thank you, Dave. Big shout out to you for this. So what we're going to do first off is a run through of all of the images in the category, and then I will call up a panel of judges and we will start the judging. And I will go through and give you an overview of what the category represents, so that when we start you can know what you're looking for. Okay, and here we go with the run through.
Try going back. Just stop.
Come on, guys. We all laugh. We all slaughter.
Go back.
This is a story of
Go back one more.
you've got
And just
all
stop.
down on the beach. Takes so much work to get a whole range of different family photos going. Every single one of those things tells this beautiful story. They all look great. And you've got this fantastic little nugget in the middle of what I'm assuming is a sister just really hitting the brother where it hurts. And his reaction, it's so much fun. You've got the lovely, caring older cousin checking out and looking after the younger, nervous sister or younger cousin on the outside. You've got the protective, big bulldozer of a boy standing there, arms out, ready to go. Just, there's so many stories. It's beautiful black and white conversion. It's well seen, well handled, it's appealed. Everything is really superior and strong. And it's freaking funny. Come on, guys. Okay, so the photographer is right down on these little kids' level. They're either on their knees or sitting right on their butt on the ground. There are a range of different heights there, and I think belly down, whoever was
Okay, judges, can I have all your sheets for exclusions if you have them?
soften the background. It also isn't
Thanks, Jackie.
You automatically exclude the white picture. Is that okay?
Right. All right, can I just... Okay, judges, can I have up to the panel, please? Catherine Williams, Glenn Howie, Mike Langford, Johan van Kaan, and Jackie Rankin. So welcome to our live audience and our online audience, and thank you D-Photo for sponsoring this category. So the travel category are for photographs that illustrate a destination or culture and communicate some aspect of travel, even if the location is local. Travel relates to an area's landscape, people, cultures, customs, and history. Photographs should express or reference either the feeling of a time and place, or simply portray the land or its people in its natural state. Okay, are we ready to set go? Everyone logged in? Everyone? Yep. Okay, first print, please. And we have a score of 77. That is a bronze award. And you're all very, very close together there. Can I please get a comment from Glenn?
Yeah, that gentleman sitting in the light, fantastic. They've held that really well. There's just a bit going on in the background with the people on the left that is quite distracting, and some lovely details in the shadows top right that I'd like to see a bit more of.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Actually, judges, sorry, I'm going to ask you to sit down. Can I have a blank screen a moment, please? Paul Jones, are you in the room?
Luckily, it's only 12 hours a day.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we are just having a little technical hitch here. I'd like to invite Mike Langford to maybe tell us a little bit about yourself for your audience in the room and online.
Short, succinct.
Short, succinct.
I'm married
Perfect.
to Jackie Rankin.
That was short.
Okay, I've been a judge for 30 years and I've learned...
Mike, can I get you to speak into the microphone so the online audience can also hear?
I've been a judge for 30 years and I've learned most about photography through looking at other people's work. It's taught me to see better, to think better, and to understand where you are and what you want to say. So judging's probably the best education you can have in a year, which is why I turn up every year.
Thank you, Mike. Glenn, I'll skip to you.
So I've been a travel photographer since I was about the age of 16 when I first started to take travel seriously, and it's a genuine passion of mine. I've taught photography, which taught me a lot about photography, and as Mike pointed out beautifully, we all learn as we judge, and that's one of the things that gets me here. This is my 6th or 7th year, I can't remember which, but I look forward to it every year. The travel that I do is something that I think most of us do to keep our sanity. So hopefully some borders will open soon and I can go back to being sane.
Thank you, Glenn. Johan.
What they said
Is that cheating? Oh,
Don't be modest.
so I've been I've been judging about as long as Mike,
Yeah.
maybe a little longer.
Yeah.
But I'm younger than he is, just so you all know. And he's right. When you have to apply a critical eye to other people's work, it makes you look with a critical eye at your own. And the learning benefits of that are not measurable. You learn so much about so many different genres, about so many different techniques. And then having to actually express what you see and think is really important as well. So, as a judge. Yeah, I value the fact that I have the privilege of being a judge.
Thank you, Johan. And we appreciate you being here too.
Thanks.
Okay, guys, we are ready to roll again, so I'm going to ask the lovely UCOL students to bring the next print back up, please. And we have a score of 80 Silver Award. We do have a challenge, though, from Johan. Yep, you can. Take it away.
I can. I gave it an 86. Crap.
I forgot to tell you guys to turn off your phones,
I
didn't I?
didn't say that word on the. Anyway, let's start with everything. It starts in the corner where you've got a line that leads us up into the top right-hand corner. The little dots of the light reflected many times goes off to the side. Then you get dragged down by the reflection of an escalator going in the other direction. And you get taken around and around in a myriad of images. This is a fantastic photograph of chaos, but it's not chaotic. And the colour is restful. I'm glad it's not the natural colour of these things. It's taken it into a more creative realm. The design of the image is incredibly thought out, and the fact that it's populated by two people and possibly a third gives it a simplicity that allows us to humanise what we're looking at. So I gave it a silver with distinction.
Thank you, Johan. I'm going to come now to Glenn for a comment, please.
Yeah, look, I scored this as 77. The things that kept me down there were just that there's a real heaviness to the print that I don't know if the scene quite deserves. And I had to really fight to enjoy a lot of the things that Johan has observed about it because of that darkness, because of that emotional weight. I kind of wanted to be able to enjoy it further, but those people, their heaviness dragged me down. But hey, it's scored a silver, which I'm already quite happy with it being there.
Mike, I'm going to come to Mike first, and then I'll come to Catherine.
Yeah, I gave the 77. I guess to a certain degree I'm influenced by the fact that it's a travel category. I totally agree with all the graphic elements you're talking about. I kept on looking into the photograph to see if there was an indication of place in terms of other people, a certain ethnic group. Is there any writing that would give me an indication of destination? And I was left with the graphics that you so eloquently talked about, and I totally agree with those. But I was within this category, I'm looking for something that tells me more.
Thank you. Catherine, you want to comment?
Yeah, I scored at 78, and initially the heaviness through the middle was probably drawing me down a little bit. It is, the sense of place. We feel the passage of time through this. I think it's quite strong with that. I actually see more people up there, probably 5. Some of them are really small, and if you go up and have another look off to the left, in the left, kind of the third way down, there's actually a face in there. So I think it is kind of the gift that keeps giving as you go in and study it further. So I'll definitely be coming up.
Thank you. Johan, I'm going to give you right of reply now.
Yes. The darkness makes you look harder, and by looking harder, you're engaging more with the image. I'm not saying everybody should print dark, by the way. As you travel up and down the escalators, you're drawn around the image, and I think it's a very clever image, photograph. And I really love the design. I gave it an 86. A higher silver than an 80 would be at least appreciated, but if it came into distinction, that'd be nice too.
Thank you. Judges, please rescore. And it has moved a little bit. It's now sitting on 84, solid silver. Congratulations to the photographer. Can we please have the next print? And I want to thank all the students that are working hard out the back. They've been here for probably 3 days now, and doing a fantastic job. This is the travel category, kindly sponsored by dphoto.
Sorry.
We have a score of 82, solid silver. Congratulations. Mike, you are allowed to challenge.
I gave this
Are you?
85, which isn't too different, but I think it's important to actually discuss why I've given it 85 instead of 83 or 2. And I think it's the reaction of the person in the image to the photographer is they haven't changed anything about what they are or what they do, or the response is neutral, and I think that's really great from a photographer's point of view of being able to be somewhere but almost be unobtrusive, and I think that's a great thing to achieve.
Thank you, Mike. I'm now going to come to Catherine for a comment, please.
I gave the 78. What I received from the subject was more of a guarded feeling, and that was holding me back. I felt like it was the guarded feeling that was sort of making it a very quick shot, and I wanted to kind of come around a little bit more and see a little bit more into, so there was a little bit less barrier in between the photographer and the objects in the front. I'm more than happy to move, though.
Glenn, comment from you?
Look, I was sitting there on a not quite courageous enough 84. The more I've had the opportunity to look at it, I'm enjoying the interplay between the face, his face and the face on the wall. There's a lot to discover in that working environment. And it's, from a technical point of view, from an old school black and white point of view, it's pretty much nailed. So I think, shifting up into the silver with distinction, that's where I'm going to head. And thank you, Mike, for being courageous enough to pop it over into that to start with.
Okay, and I think we can go back to you now, Mike, for right of reply.
Yeah, it's got a beautiful sense of environment, and I think the environment's been captured wonderfully. And I still really appreciate the difference of the reaction of this person to the photographer. It's not controlled, it's not intrusive, it's feels right.
Thank you. Judges rescore, please.
There you go.
And very, very well done. We have success at silver with distinction on 85. Thank you. Next print, please. We also have to thank our major sponsor for the 2021 Iris Awards, and that is Nikon. So just remember to, when the trade show's up and running, to go and visit Nikon and say thank you to them for their sponsorship and support, and check out all their wonderful gear. For those online, if you're wondering what that little beeping noise is, it is an alarm that indicates to the judges when they should be entering their scores. It just allows each image to be given equal amount of time in viewing.
Thank you.
And we have a score of 82, silver award. And we are going to have a challenge. We've got two people's hands up. We're going to fight it out here. Okay, first up with the hands now. Johan. Okay, I'm going to give it to you, Johan, but just remember that you are unable to lift your score. You have to keep your score at the same.
I know, but I can lift
Take it away.
Okay, so you're the other high scorer, right? Okay, so I'll just work on Mike as my proxy. So I gave this 87. It's a wonderful pattern. It's a beautiful architectural pattern, and it has two incredibly wonderful flaws. In the top, there's a little white dot that makes it more real. It takes it away from just being a pattern. There's something there, so therefore it's real. And down the bottom, on the right-hand building, there's a slight shadow, and that makes it real as well. And it stops it from being just a pattern. It turns it into a reality that's really well seen. I gave it an 87.
Thank you, Johan. I'm going to come to Glenn, who's sitting at the other end of the scale on 73.
Yeah, look, I don't see those two items as being enough to lift it into that realm of intrigue. I've seen images like this before, sadly, quite a bit, and it just didn't stack up against those. So I left it down low, and I'm happy to come up a bit. But yeah, it doesn't compare well against what I've seen, and I've seen this a few times. I also find the white band that you really enjoyed, Johan, with that single point, but also that band that breaks the pattern above, I don't particularly like. Yeah, I'm struggling a bit here. Happy to listen and talk to me.
Okay, I'm going to have a comment from Mike.
Yeah, to add to what Johan's pointed out, there's a certain flatness to this, and it's a palette, it's a colour palette and a tonal palette, which is unique. This is what I haven't seen before. We have a sense of visual depth, but it's not accentuated. It's almost like a muted thing, and I think that's what I'm reacting to most, because you would expect this harsh reality to have a harsh definition, but this is soft. It's just there, and it's just visible as opposed to in your face. Normally, geometric patterns and graphics of buildings and things are the opposite. So that's what I'm reacting to.
Okay, right of reply, Johan.
Right, just to address the band. When you look at the image, your eye gets drawn up to the brightest part, which is that band at the top. And then that makes you look and say, oh, there's something here. So I think that's a very clever placement by the photographer to say, look up here. It's not just a pattern. It is flat, and it's beautifully flat. At the same time, it's very, very three-dimensional. And to say it's a three-dimensional flat image, it's like a contradiction, a paradox. It's subtle. If you look from window to window, each window is slightly different. The message from each window doesn't really matter, it's irrelevant, but they each are personalized. So it's not just a pattern, it's a story. Silver distinction.
Thank
at least.
you. Judges, please rescore. We have reached silver distinction. It is 85. Congratulations. Next print, please. We have a score of 77, Bronze Award. And we're all happy with that. I'm going to ask Jackie for a comment, please.
Yeah, I scored it in that range. I think it would have been stronger maybe if it was just the top three elements instead of the man walking away. We could have had a sense of rhythm and of him just throwing the water out of his garment.
Thank you. Can we have the next print, please? So as we are judging each print or image, as when it comes to digital, we'll get a comment from the judges. And for the entrants out there, sometimes those comments can be a little bit hard to hear, but the process is all about learning and growing from the experience of entering an awards.
Yeah. Did you look?
And we have a score of 73.
700's high.
Can I get a comment, please, from Glenn?
Look, there was lots of good things going on. The limited depth of fields working in its favour. The colour palette's very subtle, but with the main figure looking out of the frame, I found that a little disorientating. And also, you've got that sort of chunk of hay that's popping out of the frame on the left-hand side that's also sending me in the opposite direction.
Thank you, Glenn. Can we have the next print, please? We have a score of 75, Bronze Award. Can I get a comment from Catherine?
Well seen in terms of what we're being presented with, and a beautiful palette in there. The dark elements that are coming through are quite dominating in comparison to the softness that we're being presented, and potentially a different crop could be quite beneficial with this photograph. We are sort of being pulled down with a lot of space up the top.
Awesome. A few of the judges nodding in agreement with you there, Catherine. Can we have the next print, please? So NZIPP entrants and AIPP entrants can earn merit points through entering the IRIS Awards, and those merit points go towards distinctions, which you will see different judges wearing their gongs, ranging from associate, master, master with distinction, and grandmaster is the pinnacle of the distinction system. So each award is allocated a set number of points that contribute to those. We have a score of 82. And we are going to have a challenge from Catherine.
I scored this 92. There's so much richness in here in the scene alone. Just the presentation and the composition of the scene without the character, and the colours and the detail and all the figures and the really purposeful framing that we have in the background. And then, the juxtaposition of this character set against the scene, and then you get in there and he's just looking at his phone. It's kind of a curious scene, and it just intrigues me with curiosity. And then there's this thing that looks like a rubbish bin there, and it's intrigues me to know what's going on. And then the mural type effect that's been emphasised through the framing. And the crop is really, really striking.
Thank you. I'm going to call on Johan for a comment on 76.
Right. I wanted to love this image. I enjoyed the man on the phone. I thought that was a good parody, I guess. However, I found the background so distracting that I couldn't rest there and enjoy it. The things that were happening in the background were complicated by the overlay. So I gave it a 76, which is a bronze, and I'm happy with that at this stage. Yeah.
Anyone else? No, it doesn't look like anyone else is... Oh, Glenn, yep.
Yeah, just adding, and I was there on 77, and it felt that the design elements overplayed the actual travel elements, and that was a really important non-link for me. I wanted it to be more about travel and less about the design of what the photographer's done.
Thank you. Catherine, you have the right of reply.
Yeah, the design itself, the figure is part of his own panel. So each of the panels has its own figure, and then he forms that center panel. So it is providing a story through that, and it becomes about the travel, and the travel maybe in a less literal sense, but when you think about the travel of culture, and then embedding our current time into the history and the past and how that carries through.
Thank you. Judges, please rescore. And it stays on 82, silver award. Next print, please.
Thank you.
Yep, that's got. We have a score of 72. And we're all happy with that. Can I please get a comment from Johan?
I actually really like the oval shape on this. I like the way the subject's looking out. Focus is so important, and it's just let down by poor focus.
Thank you. Can I please have the next print? And we have a score of 76, a solid bronze award. And we are going to challenge.
Absolutely,
Yep. Make a strong challenge. Yes, I'm going to challenge.
Yes. All right. So I have given this 84. The darkness of this is really adding to what we're seeing, what we're being presented with. You do have to get in there and look quite closely to see all the details, but it gives a real richness to the scene. And then we come in, and then the strength of his posture is sort of mirrored through with what we're being presented, which is leading us in framing the subject. Then as you go into his gaze, it's quite disarming in a way. His gaze is quite intense, and it's really holding there. The print qualities is really strong, just very, very dark and rich.
Thank you. Jackie, I'm going to come to you for a comment, please.
I scored 73, and I found I'm sort of getting lost in the blacks and the shadow created by what appears to be a flash or a hard light on camera. That's creating more of those merging of shapes. I felt I wasn't knowing about where he was. I wanted to see more environment, and instead all I was getting was a glare of why are you taking my photograph? I don't feel like you've given me permission, that kind of stuff. There's a barrier there. That's where I was on 73.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. I think we're going to come back to you for a right of reply.
I'm probably out on a limb here, so I'll just stick with what I said initially. Thanks.
Awesome. Catherine, you enter the same score. Judges, you have the opportunity to re-score. And it stays on 76. Bronze award. Congratulations. Next print, please. And we have a score of 79. And we have a challenge from Johan.
Okay, we're going to have to do it anyway, so let's just talk about it. I gave it an 84. I love the, let's call it, worldly quality of this travel photograph. This is travel, travel, travel. It looks like the Earth round. there's a plane flying. How well does it need to fit into the category to be a winner? The transition from warm to cold as you go across the image. It's very well thought out. It's very well presented. And it's not bang in your face. It's just gentle and peaceful, and it's lovely, and I gave it 84.
Thank you. Mike, I'm coming to you on 72.
Yeah, the icon of the world at the bottom was very obvious for me, and the plane was a bit confusing to that obviousness. But I found the bottom really muddy and flat, given what we've been... if it's the world, then it's got to sort of have some feeling of ovalness or roundness, and I'm finding those clouds on the top just detracting from the power of the bottom as well. So incomplete in terms of communication.
Okay, Catherine, comment from you.
I scored this 83. The muddy and flatness, to me that gave it, there's a duality here. This is the interpretation of this is Earth, and Earth is muddy and not flat.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, but it gave the sense of duality for me, and that really, and then the anchoring point of the heaviness at the bottom really aids to it. And then the nugget is that the plane is so tiny, and that you have to, really peer in there to see it.
Thank you. Johan, back to you.
I'm only asking for a silver nugget.
Thank you. Judges, rescore, please. And we have a score of 81, silver award. Okay, can we do a blank screen, please? And we're going to do a judge swap. And I'm going to bring Catherine Katanak, if you wouldn't mind just stepping in for Catherine Williams. And Dan, if you can please step in for Johan. You guys take a little break. So if you can just log yourselves in or find your little tab. And once again, I'd like to thank D-Photo for sponsoring this category. They have been a very long-term supporter of NZIPP, and it is very much appreciated. Are we ready? Okay, can we have the next print, please? Right on cue. And we have a score of 74. And we are all happy with that, so I'm going to invite Glenn for a comment.
Look, there's lots of good stuff going on in this photograph, but it's something of an opportunity missed. Just the cows covering a lot of the interesting stuff that's happening in the background, even though, of course, the sacred cow is interesting. And the print does have quite an unnatural yellow colour cast to it.
Thank you. Some good feedback for the photographer. Can I have the next print, please? And we have a score of 73. Mike, are you able to provide the photographer with some helpful comments?
Yeah, some sort of contact. It's almost like we need to see the eyes of the lady at least, or at least have a focus somewhere else. But where the focus is, there's no point in focusing on it.
Thank you. Can we have the next print, please? We have a score of 73. And can I get a comment from Catherine Katanak? Are you happy to comment?
This is quite a lovely study of colour and richness. I just found a couple of distractions. The pink shirt on the right really led me out of the frame, and then on the left, the woman's stiff arm I found a wee bit awkward. But it's well seen, and yeah, definitely high professional standard.
Thank you. Next print, please. And we have a score of 84. But we are going to have a challenge from Catherine, who's sitting on 93 gold.
This image has immediate impact. It's a real wow, I think. The colour palette, all the lines, you just really want to go in there and lose yourself in it, and then you're rewarded by such texture, and then you've got this sense of isolation and story. It's got a lot of mood to it. You see that initial figure there is just standing waiting. You've got the record of all the traffic that's been there, but the conditions have led to such that you've only actually got the pedestrians there, the waiting, and then you see the top figure in the distance there across the other side of the road, and it sort of gives me this sense of a standoff between these two people in this wilderness that's left because of the weather, and then the tracks of the people along the front. You know, there's a lot to be read here. We've had a short time in which to do it, but I feel that this image will keep rewarding us.
Thank you. Mike, I'm going to come to you at the other end of the scale.
Yeah, look, I'm currently not into the silver range. I will go into the silver range, but gold is a bit too far for me, mainly because of the muddiness of this. It's like I'm looking at this amazing snowstorm, but I'm not feeling like I'm looking at a snowstorm. It's just a bit drab for me.
Glenn, comment.
I was in there at 86, and since we're so close to getting it to a silver with distinction, Catherine, I probably can't go all the way there, but there's so much lovely stuff about it. Mike, I hear you on the drabness factor, and the thing that stopped me leaping into gold was the placement of the figure, behind that overhang for the lights, etc. I found that quite frustrating, but loved seeing that first figure stepping into the frame. That was all gorgeous. I have given it 86. I'll creep up a bit more to hopefully give it a solid silver with distinction.
Dan, you have a comment.
Yes. I see the drabness as very natural of what a snow scene is like in a city. And this is very city. Lots of traffic, lots of people not there. Lots of people have been there, and these two guys having a confrontation. It's nice. There's a sort of a tension in the picture which is very attractive.
Thank you. Catherine, I'm going to come back to you for right of reply.
Thank you, Dan. Nicely said. There is a tension here. There's a lot of tension here. There's also a lot of drabness. I find that muddy tonality to be perfect. As you say, Dan, this is what you see in the city. This isn't a pristine white snowstorm by any means. This is what happens in the city. There's a gorgeous flow of the elements down from the traffic lights at the top left down past the man and then into the bottom right there. The figure obscured, I actually really love that because I didn't see him straight away. And coming back to Dan's comment about the tension, he's kind of lurking, and the fact that he's hidden makes you see him later and just adds to the richness of the story. Yeah, gold for me.
Thank you. Judges, can I get you to rescore, please? And we have an 88, solid silver with distinction. Well done. Thank you. Next print, please. So judges are able to challenge a score where they are essentially 5 points away from the announced score, or if they are in the next scoring band. And a judge may challenge at any time if they have scored in the gold range. Judges, can I get you to enter your scores, please?
Trying to.
So it's not okay. Just give me 2 seconds, and I'll do something here if it is disappearing. Okay, try now.
No.
Mike, I don't think that number's
No, it's not
possible.
quite right. Absolutely correct.
Perfect. Okay, here we go. So we got a silver award at 81. And Mike, can I get you to comment, please?
Yeah, it's a great environment. Love all the, I guess a large depth of focus has just let us wander around the shop and find interest everywhere. I guess I couldn't go higher because of the blackness of the person's coat. I would have loved to have found more detail within him, and I would have stayed there longer.
Thank you. Okay, can we have the next print, please? Okay, judges, before you enter your scores, can I just get you to hold those thoughts in your head? And I'm going to grab the IT guy again, if I could. So, Paul, if you're around, if you can come to judging room 2, that would be really great. Just going to sort a couple of technical things out, guys. Can I get a blank screen, please? And we are, sorry, we can't actually change that one, so that's going to have to stay up, unfortunately. Who did we not talk about last time? Dan, tell us a little bit about yourself. Into the microphone so everyone can hear.
Well, this is my third time of entering the awards. I've warmed to it each year, and I think it's a great opportunity to submit work that you really ponder over and deliberate over and put your best foot forward. But it's quite unique, and I think it's even better now I've come to be among the flock of people, and it's just a really nice atmosphere to be with so many nice people who know what they're doing. Oh, and I did win this section last year. I won the Travel Award Photography last year.
And a
The
lovely
year-
set
the
of
year When there
images.
was no travel, I won the Travel Award.
Catherine, our El Presidente.
Thank you. And yes, Catherine Katanak. This is probably about my seventh year of judging the Iris Awards. Been a keen participant ever since I joined the NZIPP. Actually, I just really, really love this vibe. Getting to know everybody. Just looking at glorious images, all three full days of it. It's just wonderful, and I always come away just so charged up and enthusiastic, and it's a very, very good thing. I'm a Wellington-based photographer. I have a small home studio and mainly photograph people. I do a lot of corporate work, so this is a really nice balance to all those headshots to see some really creative stuff.
Fantastic, thank you. Jackie.
Okay, I'm married to Mike Langford, just to balance that out. But we shoot in very different ways. We think in differently about photography, but we come together and are able to discuss it, which is really beneficial, and we get to do that all the time. But that's why. But coming to these kind of events lets us share that passion and then hear some different points of view. Yeah, I've had quite a few years of experience. Yep, I guess I've been judging here in New Zealand since 2003, and loving it, really. Yep.
Okay, what are we going to talk about now? Who's going to entertain us? So just sit tight, guys. Maybe you had to stand up and have a stretch just while you're taking a break. So those out there on our online land, we are just having a couple of technical issues, which we will get sorted out very shortly.
Oh, I've been dying to do that.
Have all of the judges had something lunch? You've all managed to, yep. So a big shout out to those that are out there in online land. I hope you are enjoying the judging so far. This is our second day of judging. And we are currently in the middle of the travel category. And just having a little break. So you may find a little bit of silence, but we'll be back as soon as we possibly can.
I don't know how you can do that. Don't hold back.
Okay, judges, can I get you all to pop back into your seats? For those online, this is the travel category. So the travel category are representing photographs that illustrate a destination or culture and communicate some aspect of travel, even if the location is local. Travel relates to an area's landscape, people, cultures, customs, and history. And photographs should express or reference either the feeling of a time and place, or simply portray the land and its people in its natural state. So again, we've got to thank our sponsor of this category, D-Photo. And we are ready to get back into it. So can I have the print back, please? So judges, I think you're welcome to go and have another look, just to refresh your memory.
Let's do that.
And we have a score of 83, silver award. And we have a challenge from Mike, who is on 96. Go for it, Mike.
Yeah. I've never done a 96 before, I just thought I'd let you know. This is a vignette on a city. It's vibrant, it's diverse, it has every single aspect that you would want to see about a place, a destination. Colourful, the people are absolutely amazing. Every shot in here is an award-winning shot. Collectively, they actually make something way greater than that. It's a communication that's superior in its ability to make us feel about a place. And I think that deserves a gold with distinction.
Thank you. I'm going to come to Dan. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm actually going to come to Catherine on 76.
There's a fantastic richness to these images and the colour palette. The pop of them really conveys the sense of the richness of the city. What's letting it down for me is it as a series, it does feel like it captures everything in the city. There's a lot going on, and I just didn't see a connecting thread between the images apart from the colour palette in the city, but I also felt that there was quite a distinction between the quality of some of the images. I didn't feel that they were all necessarily award-winning ones. The one on the left in the centre I find quite jarring. We've got her back, but also what she's wearing, it takes it away from, I find that probably the least successful image. And then I just actually feel I just want to see that central image on its own big. I think that's absolutely stunning. So, yeah, there's that discrepancy for me in the standard of the imagery has held me back. But I'm listening, Mike.
Thank you. We're going to have a comment from Glenn.
I'm going to sort of have a bob each way on this. I'm with you completely. There's some fantastic images in there, Mike. I see what you see with many of these photographs being kind of classic images in their own right, capturing the chaos and energy and busyness of life. All of those things are great. Catherine, I'm with you too on that second image down on the right-hand side. To me, it really lets the overall feel down. But to throw into the equation, I see a very unnatural yellow colour cast that's not late afternoon sun, but just a sort of sickly yellow colour cast to the print. And that was the main reason that stopped me charging on up there into the golds with Mike. But I'm on 81. I certainly will come up to a silver with distinction.
Thank you. Jackie, you wanting to comment?
Yeah, I scored at 84, thinking to bring it into a distinction. I would have liked to have seen that one of being everything being different, and then Catherine, I think there would have been a thread through it, and that's one of the things that held me back going higher.
Mike, it's back to you for right of reply.
Yeah, I hear all these disappointments that you've had, but collectively, I'm not necessarily just looking at these as individual photographs. I'm looking at them as a palette of a city. The word that you used, Glenn, about it being slightly yellow, that's how I remember that city. That's the colour, that putridness, that whole thing is part of that palette, and I think including that into the overall feel. There's smoke, there's dust, but there's still humanity that's happy, and I think that's what comes through for me. I look at this and I feel like I just want to travel again. You know,
Don't we all?
And it tugs at me. Seriously, it makes me feel that this is what we travel for. We travel to achieve these things, and it's made me feel uplifted. And whoever the author is, thank you for that.
Thank you. Okay, judges, can I get you to rescore, please? And it scores 88, silver with distinction. Some brilliant discussion there. And I'm sure we all want to travel at the moment. Okay, can we have the next print, please? I must admit, I'm having a little bit of a laugh at the shenanigans that are going on behind the scenes in here with the students at times. And we have a score of 81, silver award. And Catherine is going to challenge that. Away you go.
So I gave this 88 silver distinction. This is a really kind of raw image with a lot of stuff going on in terms of, you know, the amount of detail there is in it. And I think the photographer has brought this all together into a very cohesive and impactful whole. It feels quite cinematic to me with those characters in the aperture created by the window on the left, you know, looking in different directions. The light on them is kind of fantastic, bringing out the texture of the skin. Over on the right, you've got some workmen at the top, just these legs coming down there. The shapes created by the windows and then the steering wheel. Those figures I find quite well balanced with the little dog on the dashboard on the right. My eye just keeps flowing around and finding cool stuff, and this is quite a strong one for me. So yeah, 88. I want to hear what other people have to say. Oh, and beautifully printed as well.
Thank you. And I'm going to come to Glenn for a comment, please.
Yeah, I was there on 77. And the reason, like, I liked a lot of what was going on. I liked the busyness. I liked the fact that it's slightly fragmented and that there's different components that draw your eye back in. But I then ended up spending a bit of time looking at the 3 sets of legs on the scaffolding, and the storyline that they told me wasn't really strong enough. So that's why I've marked it low, perhaps a little too low. But yeah, there wasn't much going on, basically, with those 3 figures.
Mike, comment.
Yeah, I'd like to support this as well. I think it's a silver distinction. It sort of makes me think about National Geographic photography and the storytelling that's available through a single viewfinder. This feels like something Bill Allard would do. The reds, the richness, everything about it is just classic.
Thank you. Catherine, back to you.
Very well said, Mike. It is. It's classic. It's National Geographic. It's. I think what's happening here is we've got the different sections with created by the windows, but we've also got a lot of layering. You know, you go back in the image, you're in the car interior, then you've got those guys, then you go back to the legs, you bounce around. There's a lot of depth. That, yeah, classic is the right word, and the colour, it's a colour play as well. There's so much here that's successful.
Thank you. Judges, please rescore. And we have a score of 86, silver with distinction. Okay, we're going to do a judge change. Rachel, can I get you to step in for Jackie? And Elan, if you can please step in for Mike. Okay, and we're ready to go. Can we please have the next print, please? And we have a score of 74. And can I get you can comment from Glenn? Thank you.
It's a really nice, well-seen image. There's a couple of things I would have done to improve it. One was just square up the horizons, the vertical lines, and there's a lot of kind of blue-black fragmentation going on in the shadows there. That's a bit nasty.
Thank you, Glenn. Can we have the next print, please? And we have a score of 76, Bronze Award. And can I please get a comment from Elan?
Yeah, I acknowledge the photographer for entering this kind of print into the travel category. It's beautiful paper, beautifully seen, and the colors are exquisite. I think it would have scored higher had the cows on the right had been separated. They're slightly merging into each other.
Thank you. So just timing. Okay, can we have the next print, please? And we have a score of 78, Bronze Award. Can I get a comment from Dan?
It's obviously monochromatic, well designed to confuse the eye, with the mirror being the centre point of the picture, and in some part of the Orient, it's just quite a fun picture. Yeah, I think I congratulate the photographer for the visual expertise and the skill in putting the picture together.
Thank you. Can I please have the next print? We have a score of 78, Solid Bronze Award. And I'm going to call on Elan for a comment, please.
Yeah, it's beautifully seen and nicely printed. I think the vignetting slightly takes it back, and I'm looking for a story.
Thank you. And can we have the next print, please? And we have a score of 76, Bronze Award. Are you challenging?
Just a comment.
Oh, a comment. Yes, that'd be lovely. Thank you, Glenn.
Look, it's there's a lovely bokeh and soft, gorgeous depth of field to this. The image is all about the interplay of colour, which is really, really successful until you see the really pink blobs in the far right-hand corner that break the very reason that the photo is quite great.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, we will have a blank screen, please. And we are about to now switch to the digital judging. So judges, if you could take a little bit break, and I will probably just relook at a different panel when we come back. So stretch your legs. Just a few minutes if you wouldn't mind. Don't go too far away. A drink of what?
I've been fooled, eh?
They call me Jerry.
We, I mean, normally not me, but it will be this time.
Okay, judges, we're going to get back into it and start the digital section of the travel category. So can I please have up to the judging chairs Elan, Rachel, Tony, Johan and Catherine Kidney.
Should have said that.
Now we've got shenanigans happening on the panel.
Don't be mean, Tony.
Okay, guys, are you all logged in? Not quite logged in.
Oh, crap. Crap. Where is it? Other way. Thanks. Sorry about that. Yeah, thanks, man.
Interesting, the different coloured screens you guys have got sitting in front of you. The colour casts on them.
Got him. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Okay, guys, if I can get you to head up and look at the image. So process is exactly the same as with the prints. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 78 Bronze Award. Is that a
Oh, sorry.
Johan challenge?
Yeah, I gave this an 87. What a beautiful shape. What a beautiful mystery. And what a lovely bunch of imperfections. The colour of the tapestry is outstandingly rich, and the little bubble in the carpet on the side just creates a more human feeling to this, and it's not just a graphic. The figure walking in carrying something of relevance to that person creates another question about what's happening. It's a whole lot of curiosities combined in another land. For me, this is really great travel photography. I gave it an 87.
Thank you, Tony.
I'm on 74 and I'll come up a wee bit, but I'm probably not as curious as Johan. I sort of find, I think it's a well-seen part of travel, but I suppose when I look at it, I look at the V in the front and how the lines don't line up, so you don't really get drawn back down into that shadow strongly, and I find it very heavily weighted to the left-hand side, and that silver tracking in the carpet is quite distracting. So I'll come up into bronze, but there's no way I'm going past that.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, scored this as 75. I can come up a bit. I really enjoy the palette. The rich, warm butteriness is really, really inviting. I would like to have seen a little bit more of maybe that ankle of the silhouette or something like that. But what happens is when I journey through all the lovely textures in the carpet to that silhouette, there's a light spot in the shadow just on the very, very edge of the frame, and my eye goes straight out and I'm lost.
Thank you. And I'm going to come back to you, Johan, for right of reply.
I like the way that it feels like a container or a vessel, and you sink down into the bottom, but then you're drawn up to the light at the top of the image, and it makes you explore the figure and discover the things that it's carrying. So I find that light spot that I think you're referring to is somewhere to be drawn to and then reflect around. The bright light down the side is a bit distracting at times, but it takes you to that little bubble in the carpet which says this is real. Those are the things that make it more interesting for me. I gave it an 87. You do what you do.
Thank you, judges. Can I get you to rescore? And it stays on 78, but some good comments and feedback for the photographer. So, bronze award. Can we please have the next image? That made you jump, Elon. And we have a score of 74. Tony, can I get maybe some constructive comments for the photographer?
Yes, I think the bottom part, bottom half of the image is spectacular, and yet you can feel that storm and the person trying to, fighting to stand in it or whatever, the wind. But then you get drawn through the top, and you fall out of the back of it. Yeah, so just cropping could have helped.
Thank you. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 73. Thank you. And can I get a comment, please, from Tony again? Oh, actually, I should have gotten
That's
someone
okay.
else. But that's all right. Go for it.
For me, this is quite interesting when your eye runs around and looks at all the detail because, and you keep getting, because you can't get into the background, you're drawn back, but when you get back, there's nothing there, so there's nowhere for the eye to rest. But beautiful elements, that's for sure.
Thank you. Next image, please. And we have a score of 85, silver with distinction. However, we are going to have a challenge from Elan, who's on 98. Take it away.
This is the travel category. This is in-camera capture. To present to us these 4 circles with so much negative space and to master this image so eloquently, it's a feast to the eyes. This is priceless. 98.
Okay, Johan, 77.
Okay, I gave it 77. I'm happy to listen to other people. When I was looking at it, I really wanted to take one of the circles out, either the top one or the bottom, more likely the bottom one, because it felt like it created a disturbance in the balance for me. But I really like the silhouette of the person, the information behind them. I really like the window above with the line through it. The post in the ground, I'm not so sure about. As a set, they look great, but I just feel there's one circle too many, and that's just from a graphic point of view. But I'm very happy to listen and grow. Yeah.
Thank you. Catherine, I'm going to come to you.
Thank you. I gave this 83 and I'm coming up to silver distinction. I think having the 4 circles is really good because we are being given pockets of information from which we need to build the context of this street. And I think each one of those pockets actually adds something. So in the window at the top, the post shows, and then the texture of the footpath in the front circle. The photographer has made the brightest circle the one with the person, which is really working. There's also the echo of the circle in there. There's a lovely curve to having the 4 circles gives this beautiful curve up through the image, and I think I've been pretty mean on 83. I'm not sure if I want to hear a bit more to come to gold though, Elan, but yeah, it's a clever image.
Tony, were you wanting to comment? Add anything new?
Yeah, I'm on 85 and I'm coming right up with, 88. That's the average, wasn't it? Yeah, so I'm on 88 and I was sitting with my finger on the trigger and I went the wrong way, really. So I think it's something that you can sit with, but in this category, it's very cinematic, it's psychological, and I can see why our judge down the end liked it for his high score. And each element you sort of step into this image from the bottom, going up through the circles to the guy, to the circular shape behind him, and then you get this out the window at the top. So you got an entry point, exit point. love the separations between the circles, the gaps. You step through this nicely. Very quirky, very cool, different. I'm up at 98.
Rachel.
Yeah, I'm on 81, so silver. I'll come up probably into silver distinction. I don't know that I could go as far as gold with this. I was thinking about what Johan said about taking out one of the circles, and interestingly, if I did that, I'd probably take the top one rather than the bottom. But then I thought about that, and that just is our own subjectiveness, and the authors obviously left all four in there for a reason. I do really like how the lines of the shadow with the post and the shadow through the circle don't intersect, and the lines within and within the circle there are reflected in the lines without the on the outside of the window in the image above. So I definitely can come up, and thanks for the opportunity.
Right of reply, Elan.
Yeah, I hear lots of positives, and thank you for your support. The bottom circle is grounding us. It gives us a sense of, this is where, and we can only go up, and then these bubbles of light going up, giving us hope. This is what I read: exceptional vision, creativity, and innovation, tick. Exceptional visual communication and interpretation of subject. High level of originality of thought. Invokes a superior emotional response. Has an enduring quality. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. 98.
Thank you. Judges, rescore, please. We have a 95 gold with distinction. Great discussions there, guys. Well done. Take a deep breath. Relax. Okay. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a 74. And can I get a comment, a constructive comment for the photographer, please, from Johan?
I like the story about these COVID times where here you are in New Zealand and they tell you about these places you can go to, but you can't. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. I felt that the figure in the image was pointing too far away from the camera and created a negative feeling about travel. It was the wrong side. I would like to see a bit more on the side of the subject. Yeah.
Thank you. Next image, please. Scores, please, judges. Thank you. 78 Bronze Award. And we have a challenge from Elan, who's on 85, Silver with Distinction.
This is a very interesting image. What brought it up from a bronze to a silver distinction, a low silver distinction, is the fact that the silhouette of where that person stands is actually, it looks like a figure, it looks like a face, it's maybe a monkey. So we actually have this beautiful landscape, and we have two elements that have that tension between them, the bird, which is diagonal, into this beautiful negative space, and the tonality is really exquisite.
Thank you. Can I have a comment, please, from Rachel?
Yeah, I scored this 76. I think it's well scored in the bronze range. I saw the baboon face, or the face in the rock there. I didn't feel a connection. I sort of wasn't sure if we were looking at the image being about the bird and the palette. It didn't draw me into the location in the same way. Yeah.
And I think we're all right. We'll go back to you for right of reply, Elan.
Yeah, so the connection is that figure, I think it's a she. She looks at the bird, and so is the monkey. So it's actually that diagonal line going into the horizon. But it is a fear of a stretch. Maybe you can come to low silver.
Thank you. Judges, please rescore. And we have a 79, so you guys know what that means. We are about to have a review. So a review is where the judges will be entering 79 to keep the image at bronze, or move it to 80 by placing 80, move it to silver by placing 80 in their scoreline. And just waiting on one more judge. Tony, can I get your score? Hasn't come through. Thank you. And the image, oh, hang on. Okay. Can I get you to do, just one moment, hang on, 2 seconds. Okay, try now. Perfect. And the image stays at 79, solid bronze award. Can we please have the next image? So this is the travel category we are judging currently. Kindly sponsored by D-Photo magazine. Get online and subscribe to the magazine. It always is packed full of wonderful photography, inspiration and know-how. And we have a score of 77, Bronze Award. And we have a challenge from Catherine, who's on 85.
I'd like to see this go higher. I think this is actually really clever. The shapes and those diagonals, I just see the repeating forms throughout the image. You've got that strong triangle in the front, strong triangle off to the right, strong triangle behind the guy. It just takes you back and back and back into the image. He is definitely your subject. He's even got his own little frame around him, and then what he's wearing just ties everything in together beautifully. The darkness around him there and his clothing is nicely balanced by that band of darkness at the bottom of the image. Can we talk about this one? It's pretty cool.
I'm going to come to Rachel, who's on 73.
Yeah, I really enjoy all of those graphic elements, Catherine, and the palette. However, what happens for my eye is that it goes straight into the frame at that dark point, and I'm gone. I'm in the tunnel, and the rest of it doesn't pull me in enough. So talk me into it. I'm listening.
Elan, yep, I'll come to you first.
I'm listening, Catherine. I scored it 76. It is a graphical, geometric, and it is done beautifully. The fact that there is a shadow, that person's silhouette is showing a shadow on the wall. The fact that he is not facing us, I lack some sort of emotional connection to the image.
Tony, comment?
Yeah, I'll come up into bronze, but I just really feel like getting something, a slider, and just darkening the whole thing down, and giving it some contrast, because it's just lacking. The shape of it's beautiful, and the placement of everything, but it's the exposure, how it's sitting now, is just mediocre. That's what I feel. It just needs contrast and darkening down to bring out those harsh lines and shadows, and let the light play.
Thank you. And have you got something to add, Johan? Okay, I will let you comment.
Thanks. The hole that you fall into is then a place where you start, and then you climb up to where the guy's trousers are, because they are mirrored, I guess, by the bottom of the image. And then what he's wearing is ruffled and imperfect, and creates a normalcy to the image. And then the shadow that you mentioned on the side of him sort of makes it more real, but still it's a design as well. And it's a beautiful design, and it's very well seen by the photographer. And I gave it a lousy 77. I'm happy to come to a silver at least.
Thank you. Catherine, right of reply.
Well said, Johan. This is a really beautifully seen little moment. The photographer has just seen a whole heap of potential and managed to bring it together and show us something pretty cool, an image of a guy walking away. It doesn't matter that he's not looking at us. Don't fall in the hole.
Thank you. Judges, please rescore. Thank you. It's now an 82 silver award. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 77. And we're having a challenge from Elan on 82.
Yeah, slightly higher. I reward the photograph for how quirky that is, how entertaining that is. It really is. I mean, it's a genuine smile. And yes, there is, a pink hue. Yes, the eyes may have been over sharpened, maybe. Yes, there is a lot of, stripes and things. But the eyes, we go back to the eyes and that beautiful smile and those shades. I mean, it's a classic portrait. 82.
Thank you. And Johan, 72.
Right. Yeah, I just felt that this was a show trick. That this kid had these eyes that were blue, and it's what he does for the tourists. and you know, hey, look, I've got these blue eyes, they should be brown. But I don't think the photographers actually added anything to the photograph. The kid had the eyes, and the smile, one of those smiley things. It's a smiling person. So I'm not seeing the photographer's contribution to this image. You know, the hand tucked in under here is a little bit awkward. Everything else is a little bit awkward. I don't think the photographers, yeah, for me, the photographer hasn't taken it further than just a kid with blue eyes. Yeah.
Thank you. Rachel?
Yeah, I'm sitting on an 80, so I'm happy for this to come up into a silver range if you guys can see your way to that. I feel that, yeah, the photographer may not have had to engage with the child to get this image, but that works really well for me, because if he has these blue eyes and he's showing them off for us, he is actually doing it in the most relaxed and gorgeous way, and it therefore becomes not contrived by the photographer, and I think that that's part of the engagement. I love the way that he is looking just over the top of those glasses so that we can see those eyes. It's really joyful and engaging, and yeah, really enjoy it. Silver's good.
Thank you. Elan, right of reply, please.
Yeah, sometimes we make a meaning out. I think the photographer did engage that boy, because look at that relationship between the photographer and that boy. I mean, this is a great report, and they're both enjoying it. 82.
Thank you. Judges, rescore, please. And we stay on 77, Solid Bronze Award. Well done. Okay, I'm going to do a quick judge change, please. Thank you, Elan. If you wouldn't mind just having a little break. And can I bring on Catherine? Thank you, and we'll have the next image, please. And we have a score of 79, and we have an immediate challenge from Johan on 93. You could be pushing it, but let's give it a go. That's what this judging's all about.
Great. Loving the skyline. Beautiful skyline, very strong central building. These figures, these two figures walking into the image past this woman who's ogling the runner. And she's going, look at that. And this photographer's timing has been impeccable. It's a little bit of Cartier-Bresson with beautiful landscape photography, so many other photographers' principles in there. In the background of the pathway where they're running, there's a man in a business suit, and you can just kind of imagine him flinging off his jacket and joining in the run. It's great. It's just full of energy, dynamic, and then just that woman's expression as she's watching that guy go past, casual-like. I gave it a 93. Really good tones, really good image, strong, powerful, lots of content.
Catherine Williams.
I'm at the other end, 73. I don't see an ogle. I just see someone gazing at what's going past. I don't feel the energy that I'd like to feel if I feel the photographer's a little bit too distant for there to be that real sense of energy that I would anticipate in that. I almost want to see that foreground runner, you know, just coming, because I feel like his expression is the best expression, coming more, you know, covering more of the frame, like being right there in your grill would really make this a lot more exciting for me. So I just don't feel that it's bringing enough into it. I mean, I could come up to an award, but I'm definitely not in gold.
I'm going to come to Tony first.
Yeah, I'm on bronze at 75. When your first initial reaction to this is the graphic nature and how you get pushed and pulled through the image, and that's the strength of it for me. But when you do get, you know, pushed through to the end and then back, you are seeing confusion with overlapping people and a bit of messiness like that. So so that's the part that lets it down for me to come up really high. I think, and also the blacks and things like that are very clogged up in the wrong places for me. So that's, you know, a quality issue. Beautiful sky. But yeah, that's where I'm sitting at the moment.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, I'm sitting on 76, and I'm with Catherine and Tony on pretty much everything that I've said. The only thing I can really add is that I'm pulled straight into the sharpest part of the image, which is the building in the centre background, and I would actually like to have something more to settle on in the foreground that's sharp, to just give my eye more time there, because I find that more interesting than that sharp building.
Thank you. And Johan, are you wanting to comment? You
just
don't
waiting
have
if
to.
it's finished.
That's all good. Okay, we're going to come back to...
Johan.
Oh, sorry, Johan. Now who's asleep? Okay. Coming back to you, Johan, for right of reply.
Catherine, I think if the front runner had been bigger and stronger in the image, you would have been distracted from everything else that's around you, the stories, the crane, the buildings, the two walking past at the top. The richness of the blacks is important to give the image its tonal strength. The focus on the back building is essential to give you somewhere to look to with these dynamic lines leading to it, and then from there you explore out, because there's enough information to do that. And then you find these little gems in there, the man walking up, the woman looking across, and it's not, here is this woman looking at this man first, and you know that's the photograph. Everything is the photograph, even the little grate on the side. I've given it a 93. It's sitting on 79. We have to get it out of 79, please.
Judges, please rescore. If it stays on 79, you know what that happens. And it goes to 81, silver award. Next image, please. I will ask the judges just to keep your comments as concise as you possibly can, and just make sure that you add something to the conversation and avoid repeating comments from other judges, just to keep things moving a little bit more. And we have a score of 75, bronze award. And we are all happy with that. So I'm going to call on Catherine Williams for a comment, please.
Sure, absolutely.
Lucky there's two of you.
I felt there could be an opportunity for a better framing in this. The main subject, he's framed partway by the bus behind, but more so by the grey elements in the background, and it doesn't allow him to kind of really stand out. Quite a lot of kind of dead space as well off on the bottom and the right.
Thank you. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 78, Bronze Award. Can I get a comment from Catherine?
This is a lovely little scene, well captured with the movement both in the train and the waving hand. It tells us quite a lovely story, and the light's beautiful. I do tend to find my eye travelling up top left and out the top of the frame there, and I think a little bit of darkening. There's a few distractions up there as well, and the fact that it's lighter takes my eye out of the image. But yeah, well caught.
Thank you. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a silver award at 80. Can I get a comment, please, from Johan? Constructive comment for the photographer.
Really like the timing with the man walking through between the trees. The two elements behind the man just seem a little bit distracting. I'm not sure what you could do about it, but it just was a little bit distracting.
Thank you. So, judges, I'm going to do a quick judge swap. Can I please bring a mic, and if you can hop in for Johan, and Jackie, if you can pop in for Catherine Kadnick. Okay, can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 73, and all very, very consistent there. Tony, have you got a comment for the photographer to help lift the image?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much beautiful information in this image with the surfers, whatever they are, and the clouds behind. But it's almost like the photographer hasn't chosen what they wanted to emphasise. If they wanted to pull out the people or to be about the landscape. So yeah, just thinking about what you're actually photographing and what you want to bring the power to.
Awesome, thank you for that comment. Can we have the next image, please? And we have an 81 Silver Award. Can I have a comment, please, from Jackie?
Yeah, scored it at 82. There's a great posing here and a nice narrow depth of field. There's an uncomfortable feeling of that lady on the right not really wanting us to be photographed. That was part of that, not engaging with the sitter or the people there. I'm not sure how you'd fix that.
Thank you. Next image, please. Congratulations to the photographer. 81. And we have a score of 77. Bronze Award. Can I get a constructive comment from Catherine Williams?
There's a lot of beautiful content here. When you go up there, you want to be rewarded, and as you work into the middle, it sort of falls short of giving you the reward that you're looking for and providing the full story. I just also feel that potentially the photographer was too far off to the right to really get in there and see the expressions.
Thank you. Next image, please. And we have a 73. And can I get a comment from Tony, please?
Yeah, I think all the elements are here for a great photograph. But just thinking about what you're saying when you're shooting somebody like this, it's sort of taking something that's a quiet moment and making it quite graphic and overbearing in a way. So what is that saying? Yeah, soft moment, but sort of captured in a harsh way.
Thank you. Next image, please. And we have a score of 72. And I'm going to have a challenge from Mike.
I gave this 82. I just really like the graphic components, and it sort of tells you about an old culture, something that's bygone, and I feel like I'm looking into the past as opposed to the future. Certainly says travel to me. Just a unique way of saying that. I think it's the original viewpoint that I like.
Thank you. Can I get a comment from Catherine Williams?
I scored the 70. I appreciate the use of the shapes. In terms of travel, it wasn't really bringing me to a place of travel. I don't find the cool light temperature that we're seeing reflected on the top of it complementary to the warmth of the rest of it. In addition, I would like to see a little bit more detail in the flooring.
Mike, I think it's back to you for right of reply.
Must be a boy thing.
Judges rescore, please. And it scores 75, bronze award. That extra point can make all the difference for a photographer in terms of their merit points, or whether they even become a category finalist. Okay, we'll have the next image, please. One of the great things about having a panel of 5 judges is that at times they may seem consistent with their judging, but other times they are quite separate in terms of their thoughts and opinions of an image. And that is what is so great about it, because everyone brings their own spin on what they're looking at and seeing. Who are we waiting on? We're waiting on... One of the scores hasn't come through. Catherine, Rachel, Tony.
Oh, I put one in, but
Is it not entering it again? Is it disappearing? Yep, perfect. 73. And can I get a comment, please, from Jackie?
I think this would have been much stronger if the photographer had waited a little bit longer for the rider to be further down the road and not having merged shape with the edge of the road, a bit more central, but leading line. That's all.
Awesome, thank you. And other judges nodding in agreement with you. Can we have the next image, please? So as a reminder, this category is being sponsored by D-Photo magazine, great photography magazine produced here in New Zealand. And we have a score. No, someone's dropped off their scores. What's going on here?
Yeah,
They've all dropped off.
Yeah.
Can you guys oh, hang on a minute. Just hold fire a minute. I'm going to see something's happened here. Give me 2 seconds. Remember your scores. See if I can work this. Okay, try. Hang on a minute. Okay, so some of your scores are still in there, others are not. If you can just recheck you've entered. Yep, that's Oh no, it's okay. Just give me 2 seconds. Right, now try again. Doing some weird things.
Yep.
Okay, now it's holding up. Okay, so we have a silver award at 81. And we do have a challenge from Jackie, who's on 87.
Yeah, I'd like you to consider this as a distinction. It made me think of Japan, winter, a very busy intersection, lots of feet, and the little wabi-sabi spot on the left-hand bottom corner where there's more feet in one spot. I thought it was a really lovely interpretation of a city landscape, urban landscape with really lovely colour and simplicity, but it gave me a sense of place and being there.
Thank you. Catherine Williams.
I just popped this just into the bronze range. I enjoy the simplicity and the graphic nature and the palette, and it was that area on the bottom left that was holding me back from going any further because it felt like it had just gone too far, and that it was kind of losing that lovely graphic pattern that we had throughout the rest of it.
Okay, I think everyone's okay. Jackie, I'm going to bring it back to you for right of reply.
Good, but that spot in the corner was that Japanese aesthetic, which is the imperfection. The areas of imperfection make it sort of perfect. Otherwise, it would have just been a pattern all over. So that's why I was up in that distinction area, 87.
Judges, please rescore. No, they're dropping out again. Sorry, guys. If you can try again entering. Tony, just waiting on yours. Yep, perfect. And it's gone up 1 point, 82. So well done to the photographer. Silver award. Okay, I will do a judge swap, please. Can I bring in Dan McGrath for Rachel and Glenn for Mike? Okay, can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 76, bronze award. All very consistent. And can I get a comment, please, from Glenn?
Wonderful, limited depth of field. The colour works really nicely together. I am left feeling quite cold. These feel like sort of, looking at the exotic other from afar rather than being engaged with the subject.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to do another judge swap. And Catherine, can I bring you in for Jackie, please? Can we have the next image, please?
It's like a film poster.
Judges' scores, please, judges. And we have a score of 80. Indicate. It's a bit hard because I actually can't. It's very, very hard to see some of you actually. Okay, we have a challenge from Tony, who is on Gold Range.
Yeah, I'm on 92. The limited colour palette of this image is superb. The expression in the person's face, the quiet power of this person going about their everyday business, the lighting structure, the glowing light, the beautiful ripples in the water, the person slightly dropping out of focus in the background, but you can see them working, the misty glow behind that pulls you back, the beautiful sky that is printed to perfection in the sky and the water balance, and pull you into that central piece. There's a lot happening behind the lady, behind the person, but it's still got a very good order to it, and that's what we're doing as photographers, is creating order out of this world, and I think the photographer's done a great job. Look at the scarf wrapped around, and then the vines behind. It all sort of interlocks and tells a story about this person's life. Superb. Gold.
Thank you. I'm going to come to Dan for a comment, please, on down the other end of the scale.
Thank you. I saw this. I hear what you're saying, Tony, and
Can I get you to speak up a little bit, Dan?
oh, right, sorry, I'm not talking loud enough. I see what you're saying, Tony, and I don't get the same feedback from the picture as you. I see the person who's posing in the front, and I see it as a pose. I don't see it as a natural. There's sort of, it looks like it looks like a film poster to me. I have to say that. I like the colours and the obviously the working with the lotus vines. It's really interesting picture, but it doesn't quite do it for me.
Glenn, comment?
Yeah, just quickly, I sort of see it as being what I expect from a travel photograph in this scenario. I'm lacking engagement, sadly, from the person in the shot, and to go up to gold, there's just not enough creativity. It's very much what I expect to see. To me, it's a great stock shot, which is why I marked it down there on 78.
Thank you, Tony. I'm going to come back to you for right of reply now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, obviously the person knows they're having their photograph taken, by somebody in front of them. But yeah, I just think like I say, it's all about the chaos of the everyday, but just how it's been finished and shown to us is better than good. So at least come up as much as you can. Thank you.
Thank you, judges. Please rescore. And we have a score of 83, so it has lifted it up 3 points. So silver award, very solid silver award. Next image, please. Can we have a score of 77, bronze award? And we're going to have a challenge from Catherine, who's in the gold range. You've got a long way to go to talk the others up, but give it a go.
Glenn. You're not allowed to laugh. No, I think this is a gorgeous piece of art, actually. And it's still a travel shot because it's giving me a feeling of lushness and richness. I feel like I'm in a hotel. I can see a whole repetition of little lamps on the tables. There's a beautiful rain of light all around, and then you go in there and I get a story because there's so many little exit signs there, some of them upside down reflected. And so you're in this wonderful, rich world, but you're kind of also a little bit lost in there, and you've got to... there's so many options to exit that you're actually you're kind of a little bit trapped in there. So maybe I'm reading a little bit too much into it, but I'm getting story as well as beauty, as well as structure and beautiful composition and beautiful tones. So yeah, I want to talk about it.
Thank you, Glenn. I'm going to come to you.
Yeah, look, I'm down there on 72. The image just left me cold. I wanted to discover something in there, didn't find it, and was left without a real sense of place. So all I can continue to comment is I do love the fact that we can have two judges here that are a full 20 points apart, and I completely respect your 92 and admire it because it takes courage to go gold at any stage. I'm just not there, but to the photographer, isn't it interesting what you can do?
I think it might come back to you for write a reply. Catherine?
I probably don't have much to add. You said something about being... I can't remember what your phrase was. About
It was sublime, whatever it was.
the sense of space and being a bit lost. That's kind of the point for me. So, don't want to repeat myself too much, but well done to the photographer.
Judges rescore, please. And we have 79.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, judges, you know what to do. So you're going to put in 79 if you wish to keep it at bronze, and 80 if you wish it to move to silver. Glenn, yours hasn't come through.
Hang on. Oh, yeah. Fail.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Yep. Oh, try again.
Oh, this again.
It's
Okay.
doing. It's no. It actually just flicks the. I don't. Yeah, it's a bug in the system, obviously, and it stays on 79. Bronze award, solid bronze. And I'm going to do a quick judge change again. And Johan, I'm going to bring you back for Glenn. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 75, Bronze Award. And I have a comment from Johan, please.
Really loved the left-hand side of the image. That third is fantastic. The dynamic's great. The right-hand side's just a little too busy with all the people in there, and it just becomes a little bit of a mess there.
Thank you. Can I have the next image, please? And we have a score of 80, Silver Award. However, we do have a challenge, and I'm going to take the highest challenger, and that is Catherine Katanek.
So I gave this 88, easy silver distinction. What a magnificent piece of masculinity this man. I mean, just look at him. He's glorious. He's glorious. He's so well placed in the frame. What I'm really loving here is the way the photographer is just playing with our minds. The angle that they've taken to give him just that tiny little sliver to stand on puts him against this, what appears to be a flat graphic background, and frames him beautifully with all the different colours, the striations there, the yellows dotted throughout that lead your eye through it. And then he's just such a character there in his undies, and then you go in there and they actually even say macho on the undies. So I'm rewarded on a lot of levels, so to speak. Yeah, it's really clever, it's really striking. I think this is a very memorable, fantastic portrait, and it's also giving that sense of the culture and the interesting space that he's in. So it's got the travel angle on, yeah, fantastic work.
Okay, can I ask Tony for a comment, please?
Okay, I think I just found out more about Catherine than this image. Yeah, I mean, I didn't have a close look at those budgie smugglers to see what they said. But yeah, I just think that it's just a little bit ho-hum, really, very central. It doesn't give me a sense of place. He's sort of walking into a space, but yeah, as far as I'll come up into bronze, but really?
Okay. Johan.
I don't really want to say this, but I'm going to say this. Just to reinforce what Catherine's saying, those stripes just make it look so much more like eye candy. It's great. I gave it an 87, and it just made me laugh so much. Yeah, enough said.
Okay, I think we are coming back to you, Catherine, before I write a reply.
Okay, so you're 87. You're right up there with me. clever communication, striking image, striking pose. He's got the action, he's got the personality, we've got the humour, we've got that graphic nature of it, and the play with the perspective. I think it's a clever photo that needs a lot higher than it's on.
Judges rescore, please. It's moved to 82, solid silver award. And take one last look, because we're going to move to the next image. And we have a score of 74. And can I call on Catherine Williams for a comment, please?
His face is absolutely beautiful when you get in there, but everything else in the background is not adding to this. Just probably a glimpse of the background, but mainly focusing on his face would have been just wonderful.
Thank you. Can we have the next image, please? We have a score of 79, Bronze Award. Congratulations. Congratulations, come on, enthusiasm here.
Can I challenge?
You can challenge, yes, you can challenge.
right.
You are in the next scoring range.
It's so close, so we're just sitting on the fence. I gave this 82, just sneaked into silver. At first I sort of thought, oh, you know, we're looking at a whole lot of other photographs. But then I thought that this is a really sort of innovative way that the photographer has, instead of these being just seen as a whole lot of other art photographed, it's seen in such a wide scope that it becomes its own object, and therefore it becomes its own graphic behind. And then the two figures, their leg placement just really kind of adds this little detail to it. And then his briefcase, and then the fact that his head just crops out of the top, just adds a little unexpected element and turns us into a more graphic piece.
Thank you. And I'm going to come to Tony for a comment, please, on 75.
Yeah, I'll come up into early silvers just from listening to Catherine there. I sort of felt to start with that it was just somebody else's art being photographed in a way and used. But yeah, that sort of trapezoid shape in the front there is holding you in. And then, yeah, putting this together in this category is pretty clever, and the people are well placed, so I'll come up.
Thank you. I think we can go straight to right of reply.
I think Tony did that for me.
Thank you. Rescore, judges, please. And we have a solid 81, silver award. we have the next image, please? We have a score of 71. And I'd like to call on Johan for a comment, please. Something that the
Yep.
photographer can take away and help.
Very strong graphic with the line leading into the boat, but the yellow object on the side just takes your eye away from the lovely graphic that it creates.
Cool, thank you. So a little bit of cropping, perhaps.
That was the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Cool. Can we please have the next image? We have a score of 76, bronze award. And reasonably consistent, but we are going to have a challenge from Catherine.
Yeah, I'll challenge this anyway. I gave this 83. I felt a little bit like it was this pose that had been created, but there was just so many quirky nuances in there with the eyes, like this subject with the elbows out, and then that's intersecting over the eyes, and these other characters are just trying to peek out, and then there's this hand that comes all the way across onto number 5 on the side, and then when you go down to the feet, you actually realise the same kind of competition is mirrored in the feet. This dominating foot's coming forward, and there's just some interesting shapes and things, and then the background being so sort of blown out just made me feel like it actually gave me a sense of place, that this place is very arid, very dry. You know, there's it just felt very, very bright and hot, and it sort of added to that instead of taking away.
Johan, Tony, are you wanting to make a comment? You're on the other end of the scale.
Oh, I shouldn't have looked at you, should I? Remember
Stop
that
copying.
next time, Tony. You're 72. What I like about this image is the quirkiness of those, that the person with the elbows, and how you can see the people directly behind on either side. You can just see one eye. I look at it, and technically I think, the photographer has some sort of centiweighted metering, and it's exposed for the darker skin and blown out the background. Whether that's on purpose or not, but probably my main reason for keeping this down low is it just feels like these people performing for the photographer for money, or for not for money, but it just feels like, we're here, another photographer, click, click, and they have that expression about them, and I don't like that.
Johan.
I was the same as Tony, I was at 72. Everything he said, plus I feel the control over the depth of field wasn't quite there. The background could have been more out of focus. I feel it's just too much information.
Cool, thank you. Catherine, back to you.
All right, so the performing thing is absolutely what I got out of this, and I got out that this was, instead of going for the performance shot, this was the getting ready the moment before, and this was the sort of the competition of dominance that was going on in between them.
Judges, please rescore. And the score stays the same, a solid bronze, 76. Can we have the next image, please? And we have a score of 78, bronze award. We're going to have a challenge from Catherine, 87.
Yeah, I gave this 87. It was just the level of detail throughout that it was just, yeah, it was so detailed and just a beautiful palette, and just the sense of how vast, the feeling of vastness that we were given through the two people that were standing on this peak that they'd conquered, and yet there was so much above them, so much height above them. Yeah.
Tony, I'm going to come to you. You're on 73.
Yeah, so I've probably been a bit harsh with this, but I suppose and I will come up into award standard, but I suppose it just took me so long to get into, to finding the people. I mean, the lighting on that, what they're standing on is not great, and you have to really search and look in there to see them. But, the grandeur in the background is and the scale of it, I suppose, is quite cool. So I'm going to listen to what the others have got to say as well.
Johan.
I gave it a bronze. I'm happy with it at a bronze. I gave it 78. I feel that the top is a little bit untidy with the cropping through the top of the mountains, or part of the top of the mountains and not other parts. In terms of looking for excellent level of imagination, creativity, visual communication and interpretation, I think it's very good, but excellence isn't quite what I'm seeing in there.
Dan, if you've got something to add, yes.
Yeah, I think the person that took the photograph had fallen out of communication with the two people, and he should have been able to see them and control them more. So that's why we couldn't find them.
Thank you. Catherine, back to you.
All right, so I might be pushing it a little bit. Just in terms of, beautiful colour, the really exquisite level of detail in there. The mountains coming out the top, I just feel everything's edge to edge in here. And so the mountains coming out the top is quite fitting, and the break in the top of the mountains to the skyline is so subtle anyway that it doesn't cause any distraction for the eye. Yeah, I'd like to see it we're at 78, it would be just nice for it to come up a little bit higher.
Thank you. Judges rescored, is currently sitting on 78. And it goes to 80, silver award. Congratulations.
Thank goodness it wasn't
Good discussions there. Can we have the next image, please?
One extreme to the other.
we have a score of 75, Bronze Award. Can I get a comment, please, from Catherine Williams?
Great complementary colours with the beautiful golden grass, subjects nicely framed in there against the road. I actually don't, probably maybe the bottom is a little bit heavy for me, and that might aid going a little further.
Thank you. Can we have the next image, please? We have a score of 78, Bronze Award. Can I get a comment from Dan, please?
Strong little picture. For me, the verticals in the picture aren't all haven't been corrected sufficiently, and it just lets the picture down a little. But it's a pleasant little scene without any children.
What are you saying? Past bedtime.
I will make no comment there. Can we have the next image, please? We have a score of 83, but we're going to have a challenge from Catherine, who is sitting on 88.
Yeah, so I gave this silver distinction. This is quite a fantastic performance image. The choice of the low angle and the wide, the wide angle lens and with a wee bit of distortion there just takes you right into this action, and you've got this figure with this fantastic diagonal coming up, amazing light on the face, sort of looks like an offering to the gods. That diagonal line is reflected by the little wire coming down to the left-hand side. Then the repetition of the figure takes you back into the image. Got all the wonderful smoke and haze, there's a lot of mood here, there's beautiful rich colour. And then you've got the audience down to the left there with their mobile phones, so it feels like you've got depth in terms of time, you know, the traditions and the history, and then the modernity of the mobile phones, the cool colours of those capturing the warm colours of the image. You know, I'm waxing lyrical. There's a lot of different elements in this, and I think it definitely deserves higher than a paltry 83.
Can I get a comment now from Catherine, other Catherine, at the other end?
Yeah, your waxing lyrical could be working with me. I scored at 78, and I guess in terms of I was really enjoying the people with their mobile phones and his expression, and it was probably everything else through the middle just feeling a little bit too messy for me, and the bright light that was quite distracting. I will come up though. I think I've probably been a bit harsh.
Johan.
Everything that Catherine said, plus the fact that the people on the left-hand side with the phones is really nicely balanced with the people in the performance on the other side of the image. So it's got fantastic framing.
Catherine, back to you.
Thanks, guys. Let's do this.
And it scores 85, silver with distinction. Can we have the next image, please?
Nice.
Okay, judges, can I get you to please hang fire, just so that you can, the honours team can select who's going into the finals. I'd like to thank everyone for being in the audience and also our online audience today. And a big shout out to D-Photo, who is the sponsor of this category, the travel category. Without their support, we would not be able to hold these events. I'd also like to mention Nikon as a major sponsor for the 2021, whoops, I nearly said 2020, 2021 Iris Awards. Thank you, judges. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Some great judging. Thank you. And a big shout out to the UCOL students in the background behind the scenes too.